everyone, my name is Shivani Tyagi and I teach philosophy optional and ethics. Today we are going to discuss Hegel's philosophy. So the best part about my class is that we not only understand what philosophers are saying, we also discuss their ideology in real life. We're taking current affairs and we do debates on that. So if you are missing that in your philosophy optional, then you have to attend my classes and we'll do current affairs and also do all debatable questions. So let's understand what Hegel said. So Hegel was like a person who was sitting in a room. Imagine that he was sitting in a room and outside there was war going on, protest going on. So Hegel was the unbothered type of person who didn't care about this stuff. Why? Because he said that history, while reaching to a certain points, come to a conclusion, and that conclusion goes through lots of arguments. So if a person who is sitting in a room all chill because protest is going outside, and he is taking this as a positive aspect, saying that the protest is coming up with new revolution, with new ideologies, with new thinking, right? And according to Hegel, history goes through all these aspects and then reaches to some conclusion. So according to him, all the protests, all the revolutions, all the ideologies, these are necessary to take, right? So let's understand one by one what he says and understand his ideology and philosophy. So first understand his background, because whenever we read philosopher, we don't care about his background, and I think their history, their philosophy somewhere emerges from where they are born, how they were living before, what their ideologies were when they were children. So it's very important. If you are a philosopher's student, if you are opting for this optional, then I'll request you to please go through their background, read what they were going through in their childhood, what trauma they were going through, what were their ideologies before writing that particular philosophy. So make sure that you are understanding it. So he was the philosopher, the idealist philosopher. Let's change it to red, because we are talking about history over here, and when we talk about history, it's always covered with lead. If you know, you know. So he was idealist philosopher, aimed to build a complete system connecting knowledge, history, ethics, politics, religious and art. So his theory was based that it's something more rigorous, right? Something like maths. He was mathematician, right? So he wanted to build something more precise, more rigorous as maths, right? He wasn't happy with maths only. So suppose if you are taking example of you, then science will say that you are made of atoms, right? If you say example of your thoughts, then psychology will say that it's build up of the cells, brain cells, right? Then but he wanted to talk about something more in a combination, something more about history, by combining all of this together, by the ideologies. He wanted to understand it, not one by one. He wanted to understand all of this. So his aim was to show that history is not random but purposeful. It has a meaning, right? It's not that something came up certainly, right? It took time, there were steps needed, there were the ideologies which were contradicted, and because of contradiction and this differentiation of ideologies, history developed. There was then the conclusion was built up, right? Then Marx played a huge role in influence. Marx played huge role when it came to Hegel's theory. So Marx was influenced with his idea, but he says that you are missing, you are not understanding that the difference is between class struggle. So he talked about class struggle over here, right? So he says that this materialism that you are missing, it should be there. The gap is between, because of materialism, right? Then method dialectic. His theory, dialectic method, includes three things: thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Now, thesis is the idea that we are coming up with. For example, that we should give freedom to press. Now, this is thesis. Thesis is idea. Now, what is the idea? Idea is that freedom of press, right? Now, what is antithesis? Antithesis is the opposition of thesis. It's the opposition. Now, what is opposition in this idea? Opposition is that fake news can develop, right? There are certain fake news that we see because freedom of press is there, right? Then synthesis. Now, what is synthesis? Coming to a conclusion and giving a solution to antithesis. So synthesis in this case will be, yes, freedom should be given, but at some balanced point. So this is synthesis. So this is the dialectic method that he gave. Then why it is important? He says that reality and knowledge are both together important and plays a huge role, right? Then he also says a very big thing which I feel is very positive and I follow it. He says that contradictions are not something negative. So he's the philosopher who says that contradictions are necessary. It is very important that you are contradicting someone, because whenever there are contradictions, there are chances that in this theory, in that philosophy, jo amendments hai, those amendments can come and it can become more powerful and more stronger. So this is what his theory was. Now, early life and education. He was born in 1770 in Stuttgart, and then he studied in certain universities, had different friends who played important role. They were poets, they were philosophers, and they generated these ideas somewhere in his mind, right? Then French Revolution, he actually played important role. Through French Revolution, seeing all the history together, he understood that how much important it is to understand that history is not something which is just happening because of one ideology or it's happening certainly. No, it takes steps, it takes time, it takes revolutions, it takes ideas, and through that we goes through those changings, through that revolution, right? Then career in academic, worked as a tutor, then he became as a lecturer, and he was famous for connecting philosophies to religion history. As I said before, that he was not the person who was just seeing one aspect, he was connecting all of these together. He was building our history into something different ideology than the previous philosophers, than Hegel, right? Then approach to philosophy. Philosophy must explain the real one in history, not remain abstract. It's not abstract, right? It plays huge and more important role than that. Then Hegel and Descartes. Now we all know and read what Descartes said. Descartes' theory was somewhere, solipsism. It was self-centered. Why it was self-centered? Because he was talking about himself, the I ideology that he came up with. He started doubting everything. He started saying that everything that is existing, we should doubt on that, right? And then he came with one reality, that the only thing that I cannot doubt on is I think, right? The existence of mind. So he came with the philosophy, I think, therefore I am, cogito ergo sum. This is what his theory was, right? Cogito ergo sum, right? Hegel criticism to Descartes was that self is not static but always changing, right? As contradiction was something taken positive according to Hegel, he says that self is something always change. Your perspective might be different tomorrow and what you are having right now. So this difference can be seen in person, in individual, right? So it is shaped by experience, history, and contradiction, and this could be seen in today's generation also. What we were following before, we are not following it today. The ideology is different, cultural differences are there, right? The language differences are there. So all this tells us that yes, Hegel was actually true, contradictions are necessary, and the changes can be seen not only in ourselves individually, but in history also, in culturally also, in society also, in our family also. So this is what he's talking about. Then example is given that a child at 5, you know, his ideology is and going to be different at 15, and his idea is going to be different at 25, right? So all these takes steps. He understands the world, he revolves around it. Contradictions are, given to him, and through those contradictions he start involving himself, right? And then he makes himself more better, right? So this is what society do, this is what culture do, and something static is not what society is, right? Then Hegel was more focusing on freedom and regulated freedom, right? So he says that freedom goes through chaos, through diversions, through differences, through all of these together, and then we somewhere reaches to the regulated freedom. So freedom is not something that we are thinking about freedom and it's going to happen to us in today. It takes times, it takes steps. So this is what his ideology was. But according to Descartes, its truth was instant certainty, it just happens, right? When he came with the theory, I think therefore I am, it was instant to him, right? Then Hegel truth, it's step by step, it takes growth. So this is the difference between Descartes and Hegel. Kant's view and Hegel's criticism. Kant, we all know that he gave his theory cause, effect, and time and space, right? That mind has fixed categories. This is what he came to. And according to him, morality is something like he gave an example. Let's suppose that lying is wrong for you, right? So, because it is wrong for you, so let's say that it might be wrong for universally also. So, he says that do not lie, but if it is fitting your situation, that lying is correct for you right now at this moment, then it's okay to lie, but it will create chaos in the society. So lying is wrong. This is how we understand the concept of morality, right? So he was actually focusing on subjective perspective. But Hegel said that his idea was too rigid, too focused on isolated individual, right? He was talking more about subjective and Hegel was going towards more objective perspective. So this was the difference between two. Also, he says that reason evolves with history. What is rational changes over time. This we have understood by now that Hegel's theory is more about objective and it's more about rational thinking, right? Then he says that ethics lived in family, society, and state, right? True freedom, participation in the community. Example, he says that according to Kant, truth might change individually. That it might be right for me for this situation that I can lie, and it might be right for Kant. But for Hegel, we should start working. This subjective nature should be towards the society, towards the community, and towards my family, right? So this subjective should be the subjective nature of mind should work towards community, right? Towards objective references. So this is the difference between these two. So key difference is that Kant says that fixed duty for individuals, but Hegel says evolving ethics in community. You should start working for your community. You should start working for your family. Those subjective ideology should not interfere with the history revolutions, right? Then he came with thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, which is a dialectic method. He says truth is not fixed, it evolves through conflicts and resolutions. And this we could see with so many wars happening, right? War happened, we come with the conclusion, there are differences, there are oppositions, and then we come to a conclusion, right? And this is what I've explained you with thesis, that is the idea, and thesis is the opposition of thesis, and then synthesis is the balance regulation, is the conclusion that came with these two. Okay, then transformation, not destruction, as he says that contradiction is something negative. So it's not like that we are changing those previous stages, we are changing those previous idea, we are demolishing them, we are not identifying them. It's just that we are doing some amendment to them, we are making some changes in them, right? So new stages preserves and transcendent old ones, so those are preserved, right? So cold of bunk, that is sublation, cancels plus lift up. This is the theory of bunk. So history is not collapsed, but it's a continuous progress. And it's not that we are not understanding the previous ideas. We are taking them together. It's just that we are with the opposition, with the contradiction, understanding it more, amendmenting it, and then making it more revolutionized way. Understood? So this is the theory that he came up with. So if you are in my class, I will understand you what the concept is, what Hegel said, what Husserl said, what Descartes said. I'll compare them just like I did. So it's not that we understand philosophers individually, we merge them together. And not only we merge them, we actually understand them with current affairs. And my students in my class doesn't stay quiet. We actually do debates, we understand the ideology, and we put ourselves in their shoes to understand them more, because it's very difficult to understand these philosophers who gave these theories like 100 years back, 200 years back, right? It's 2025. We are emerging, we are evolving, and if I say in Hegel's view, and to understand in their viewpoints, we first and try to understand what they are saying, put ourselves in their shoes, and after that we contradict them through the today's current affair. We do debates in my class. So if you are the one who is missing all of these things, then I, Shivani Tyagi, welcome you in my class. We'll study together, we'll contradict together, we'll emerge together, and we'll make sure that we score 300 together. So I'll be waiting for you in my class with more questions and with more revolutionary ideas like Hegel. Thank you.